Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Um, yeah, it's been far too long since I last uploaded, and I am currently free from everything. Like college is done and everything, so until I get a bit of load from like work stuff or whatever, I am free to do as I please. And today we will talk about solo leveling. Yes, I know I kind of left that series at a certain like a weird point. Like as things were ramping up, I just stopped uploading videos. But guess what? I went ahead and completed reading the entire thing in essentially 2 or 3 days. I have no idea how long it took me, but um, yeah, I was just getting impatient, and obviously, like the recorded videos were like 1 hour, however long, and I was like, dude, I need to read more and more in a short amount of time, and I I just went ahead and I was like, yeah, let's just do it. So today I'm going to talk about solo leveling, give my thoughts on the story, the characters, what I liked, what I disliked, and just discuss about it a little bit. Let you all know what I felt about the story. So yeah, this video might be long, this video might be short. If it gets too long and too boring, you guys can like fast forward, set the speed to like 1.5x, and yeah, let's see what stuff what things I yap about in this video, right? So, solo leveling is my first manhwa and probably the only manhwa that I will ever read, just because every other manhwa that I see on Instagram or Twitter or wherever like it's advertised, I just feel like it's just a rip off of solo leveling because literally there's stuff that's the exactly but the stuff that's exactly the same, like the entire system thing, the power levels and shadows, obviously, like summoning creatures and whatnot. So I'm willing to bet solo leveling did it first, and these guys just like try to copy its flow, I guess. So yeah, I don't think I can get interested in any more manhwa similar to solo leveling after reading this thing, because this is, god, this was so good. This was legit amazing. Like I would probably rate it a 9 out of 10. Um, I would have given it an 11 out of 10 because it's so favorite, and I like this character of Sung Jinwoo so much that he's been on my head, and like he's such a powerful motivational figure, to be honest. Like someone who like encourages you to be better, whatnot. Obviously, there's like supernatural factors involved in the story, but that's, you know what I mean. You know how important it is for like guys to like see someone go from a weakling to being super strong and a giga chad essentially. So you know what it means for us. Yeah, it was just really nice to see him progress, grow into the man he went on to be, and how his interactions with characters changed. And I would have given it a full score if it wasn't for certain character points where I was like, maybe the story could pause and like give us a bit more of certain interactions here and there. And the dialogues were in a few places here and there. I wanted more dialogue to be there, but it just kind of like, oh, someone says something to Sung, and Sung's like, oh, really? And it just moves on to the next scene, and it's just it felt like towards the middle or the later half of the series there were moments where Sung was like, yeah, all right, let's move on. I don't want to talk about it. And it's, you could say it's characterization and whatnot, but I felt like they could do more with this. And they even said that in the anime they plan on expanding the relations, the interactions between people and characters a little bit more to like flesh them out a bit more, which is obviously very much appreciated. Like this story needed that. This story needs that very much. And yeah, so let's dive in. Mm, where do I start? Characters, story. Yeah, let's just start with the story. All right. So I think I stopped reading on YouTube in like the chapter where Sangil 1 was discovered. I think I don't remember that much. It's been like a month or two since I last uploaded. Good lord. So yeah, Sangil 1, that point, and I was like, you know what? Let me just read the next 2 pages, and then it just got so interesting that I was like, they wouldn't mind if I read one chapter, and then I just went ahead and read the whole thing. Weird, but yeah. So I stopped at Sangil 1, but I read the whole thing. So what do I feel about the story? The story itself, again, 9 out of 10. It could have been a little bit better, but I think the biggest problem the story has is rooted within the type of story it is, because it's a story about a guy who just keeps on powering up. So like you will at a certain time reach a point where your character is Doctor Manhattan, but he's not in this manhwa, which is absolutely amazing, and I greatly appreciated that. So, um, yeah, at a certain point in these kind of stories, your character gets super OP, so you essentially the you lose context, you lose you lose the point essentially. Like, what else can he do to be relevant in the story anymore? Like, what else is there for him to do? Um, I think that's exactly what happened with this manhwa as well. But I wouldn't say that this is like stereotypical, because this is probably the first manhwa to ever do this, and everything else came after that. Because solo leveling is kind of old. It's like came out in like 2015, 17, 18. I don't know when, but it's like one of the progenitors of this type of story in Korean manhwa. So I don't blame it. If it was the first, then I don't blame it. But yeah, that's it. That was kind of an issue. But I'm glad that they could go the distance, give Sung a happy ending, which is wow. I mean, yeah, I know some people are like, yeah, it was made, it was whatever. But please, just for the love of God, your main character got a happy ending. Why are you not happy about it? So they gave him a happy ending, which was great. And then they sort of like set up the story to follow his son towards the end in the additional chapters, I think. So Sung Suho. Oh, by the way, this is gonna be a spoiler filled video. I forgot to mention that, but I mean, if you're here, then you know that it's gonna be a spoiler filled video. So the story will probably follow Sung Suho from now on, and we'll go on adventures with him and see what's up with that world. So yeah, story wise, 8 or 9 out of 10, just because of that one overpowered character complex, and them having to essentially, since he is so overpowered, that ending has to be either you isolate yourself from humanity or be a good guy and live a normal life. And I think that was the best. What they did with the story, the ending, was the best possible route they could go through, and I greatly appreciate them for that. Now, there were points where I was like, yeah, the story needs a bit of a breathing room. It's moving too fast, but I mean, it's a shonen manhwa, and there's barely any time for interactions, which again they will fix in the anime, hopefully. Um, but yeah, there's certain personal nitpicks I have with the story, and I think a lot of people, you know what, I had read the story two, three, four times, and I kept on coming back to it and reading certain arcs from it, and I obviously keep seeing solo leveling stuff all over Instagram and Twitter, and I think one nitpick that I have personally was with the characters. So let's discuss the characters, because story wise, it's great. It's fine. I perfect. I don't want to change anything from it. Um, and also the whole time reversal thing. Again, some people might think it's all stereotypical, but again, this was the first one to do it. So does that mean it's a stereotype, or is it a progenitor? So I don't really mind that. It makes sense. So many people died. Canada, USA was wiped out in that world. My God. And bunch of Japanese guys died, Korean guys died. Yeah, I think it was the best uh, plan of action over there. So that whole time reversal thing was great. I kind of felt bad that Sung had to go through 27 years of soloing everyone, because at that time it wasn't just solo leveling, it was just soloing the entire gang by yourself. And that was really nice to see that finally he's doing this all by himself, and he doesn't even want credit for it. I think one big factor from the story is that Sung's characterization parallels that of Ashbourne. Like, Ashbourne at a certain point became so powerful, he was like, "What do I do now?" And like, do I side with these guys? Do I side with those guys? do I just do my own thing? I have no idea. And so Ashbourne had no thing. He had nothing to look forward to. But Sung, he himself got as powerful as Ashbourne. He got even more powerful than Ashbourne. And the good thing is that he finally has something to look forward to with Jahain and Suho and his entire life. Like it was so nice to see that when he grew up, and he was like working as a detective and whatnot. He was smiling, he was laughing around people, and he was so much more. He felt so much more lighter than he was in the main timeline where he was like constantly tense. He was like he was he had a 100-day mewing streak going on. It felt like, and he was just so tense. He wasn't talking much with characters and whatnot, even though he cared about them. Um, there was a point early on in the story, like in the anime, it's shown that, oh, maybe the more Sung grows powerful, the more he loses his human nature. But I'm glad that it didn't make him go full Dr. Manhattan, because that would have been terrible. Like imagine him and Cha and that relation being completely messed up because of this. No, I don't want that. Thank you for what they did. All right, so let's move on to the characters. Sung Jinwoo, absolute goat, Giga Chad, you know, inspires me to be a better version of myself, and I think that's what you need from your main character who can keep leveling up, and that's I think that job was done. The job was done phenomenally. There were mysteries like what's going on with the story, who are these guys, what is happening with the gates and whatnot. So, um, first time reading that, I kind of like skimmed through everything because I was like super excited to know more and learn more. So um, I wasn't getting 100% of the picture, but then I came back and saw some points and like saw that the story had actually explained things. So then I had no problem with those. So Sung's character, great, stunning. I wanted more interactions between him and the team, which we will probably see in the anime. So I have no problem with that. But this is also like a bit of copium going on. I don't know how much of it will be expanded on in the anime. So yeah, Sung, super Giga Chat, amazing, love it. Chahain, yeah, she is amazing. She's sweet. She's nice. She is not in love with Sung because he is strong. I have seen, oh my god, I've seen ridiculous comments on like Instagram reels and on Twitter that Cha only likes Sung because he's super strong and he wouldn't have liked and she wouldn't have liked him if he was just another E rank hunter. Dude, no. It's clearly stated in the manhwa that Cha like fell hard for him. The whole smell incident in the dungeon was, the first sparks, initial sparks, but then she fell hard for him when he saved her life during the Jeju Island raid. And that was, I mean, if he was an E rank hunter and he could defeat Beru, she would still fall for him because he essentially saved her life. And that was like, I find it so ridiculous that people say that, oh, she's only there because he's strong and whatnot. I mean, yeah, technically he's strong, but he also saved her life. So if he wasn't as strong and he just used his brain to beat Beru, then even then she would have fallen for him. So yeah, Cha, great character. I'm just it's funny to see because most of these guys who like comment on Instagram reels, they have this notion that Sung should have been with Juhi, and I was one of those guys, and I still think that maybe they should have been together to some extent, but again, Cha and Sung is such a nice dynamic, and like them riding on the dragon and everything is just so romantic. I was like, okay, you know what? I can live with this. I can live with this. I'm super fine with this. But yeah, part of me wonders what would have happened if Sung and Juhi had ended up together. And a lot of people again did not like that. They wanted him to be with Juhi. Understandable, understandable nitpicks, understandable criticisms. Because yeah, I mean, I don't really know what was going on. Again, like this takes a whole 1 point. Like I could have given this story a perfect score, but in some cases it just fumbles. Like Juhi was completely tossed out of the story for no reason, and even like when he reset the timeline, he Sung Jinwoo did not want any part of her life. Like he just said, like they crossed paths, and Jui could like feel something off about him because the cup of reincarnation wasn't working properly, and certain people remembered certain things. So Jui was like, "Hey, do I know you?" And Sung was like, no, whatever." I'm like, how can you do that? Like, you set this up so well. Like, okay, I'm gonna like take you out to dinner, lunch, whatever, and then they just do, they go nowhere. Like, even I was like super mad about this. Trust me. But again, Cha is such a nice character that I don't mind this. I'm actually like more than okay with Sung and Cha. Like they are the power couple, and I don't think now with what we've seen, like if you read the manhwa completely, I think like yeah, sure, like these guys are super alright, super compatible. Baek Yoon Ho, Woo Jin Chul, the other guy, the red-haired guy who can like do fire magic. Amazing side characters. Baek Yoon Ho in especially like he and him and Woo Jin Chul. My God, what nice characters. Woo Jin Chul transitioning from like a kind of a detective type of figure to like Sung's personal like acquaintance towards the end was like super nice. Um, I wish we would have seen more of Baek Yoon Ho and these guys towards the end because, like if you've read the manhwa, you know that towards the end it's all about S rank hunters. Not even it's not even about S rank hunters. It's about national level hunters versus the monarchs. And some national level hunters are there. Thomas Andre was there. Wow, Thomas Andre is an incredible addition to the team. Um, and yeah, I just wish that we would have seen more of like Baek Yoon Ho, Ma Dong Wook, even though they probably wouldn't have done much in the battle because they're merely S rank hunters, like S rank doesn't even matter anymore at that point. So I wish we had seen more of them. We probably will in the anime again. Like the only thing that's good about them not being in the latter half of the story is that they get significant screen time towards the middle of the story and towards the early parts of the story. And with the anime, they even expanded on that and like gave us more and more glimpses into their lives and how strong they are. So yeah, I'm all right with that. The Japanese hunters Goto Ryuji, my God, what a ridiculous! I mean, Beru was so cold at that moment. That entire like Jeju Island raid was like it already is a fire arc, but then Beru showing up and just shitting on every S ranker is like the icing on the cake. And like yeah, Goto Ryuji, false king, tried to like beat the shit out of Sung and saw and look death in the eyes, and it was just so funny. That entire segment of them sparring in the training center was hilarious to me. Like someone was like, "Yeah, let me just dodge and weave and just play with him a little bit." And then when Goto went all out, Sung was kind of worried that the system might tell him to just kill him on spot. So thankfully that didn't happen. He got killed instantly later on, but it is whatever, man. It is whatever. So Japanese hunters were fine. Liu Zhizhang from the Chinese national level hunter, he was super nice. I wish we'd seen more of him. Like, he could like do like fire magic, but from his like swords and stuff. I wish we could have seen more of him. Probably will in the anime once again. Uh, who else? Who else? I'm forgetting the crucial people, aren't I? Go Gun Hee, my God, what a nice character. Like when he, okay, spoilers once again. Like if you've come this far and really don't want some major spoilers, back out, please. Go Gun Hee was such an amazing character. I hated when he died. I knew that he was gonna die. There were signs all over the place, but not like that. Um, his death was well done. Um, like really well executed, and even his death in the refreshed timeline was really well done because he was just an ordinary guy and he died of like old age in the new one. So Really well done. Sung going back to like see him, and both of them just crying on meeting each other. It's just so wholesome to see. Because Sung, again, like coming back to the my major nitpick from the story, that Sung did not interact emotionally that well in the original timeline. So I'm so glad that they could show him, when he's older and he's coming back to these people, and he's like he's grieving, he's mourning, he's laughing with them, and it's just so heartwarming to see that. Chairman Gogan, he amazing character. Um, okay, after that, I'm gonna mention Wang Dong-soo, because I'm not even gonna mention his brother because you guys saw what happened to him. But Wang Dong-soo, my God, I legitimately thought that he was going to be a problem, because in the anime, again, he was set up to be like, again, a super S rank hunter. The law can't contain him and whatnot. But by the end, like when they meet, it was so hilarious, man. Them catching Jinho was probably the biggest wrong move that I've ever seen in the story. And at that point, like Jinho and Jinwoo were like super close. They were essentially brothers, and my God, the way he went out is ridiculous. Like I don't know if like Sung fought Thomas Andre, and then I don't know if he came back and then like killed Wang Dongsu and then turned him into a shadow, or like because there's a moment in the manhwa where like Thomas Andre comes towards Sung and he's like, "Let him go, please," and Sung picks up Wang Dongsu and just tosses him away like that. And Wang Dongsu, like he's flying through the sky, and he's like he has like one or both eyes open, and he's thinking, "Yes, Thomas Andre, I wanted you to interfere. Please kill him." And that's the last we think of him. And I find it so funny that it actually might have been something like he's flying, he's thinking this stuff, and then he crashes down and dies. Like that's his final thoughts. And I'm like, wow, that is a ridiculously funny way to go. And what's even crazier that they got the voice actor for Sakuna playing Wang Dong-soo. So, yeah, that's like a super added bonus. Really looking forward to see like this moment in the anime. Thomas Andre, another great character, give has such high respect for some. Even before fighting him, like he was like, Wang Dong-soo, you better not mess with this guy. He's strong, and he will mess you up. Speaking of Wang Dong-soo, like dude got bodied by father and son, and I mean, my God. Um, it's super ridiculous. Like it's so funny how he went out. He went out a complete no show, and turned into a shadow. Even the shadow had like four appearances, and like m- none in the most crucial moments. So that was like super funny. um, then what? Who else? Who else? I'm gonna come to the shadows in a bit, but then Sung Il Won, the father. Oh my God! Like when it was revealed that Sung Il Won is actually some super Giga Chad guy, I was like, oh my God! Like what's going on in the story? And then like when he finally reveals that his initial task was to kill Jinwoo, I was like, monarchs, no, rulers, sorry, what is going on with you? Like, how do you task a father to kill his son? And then, I mean, thankfully, due to like the plot and whatever, they like reverted the statement and instead gave him the job to protect him. And that was super nice. And he held his own against the Frost Monarch and the Beast Monarch, and it was just amazing to see. Like the final, like the Monarch War arc was amazing. It was some of the best moments ever when Sung dies and he's reborn as the new Shadow Monarch fully. It was like reading that part and like seeing him in that seeing him standing in the garden in that shadow domain, and he just closes his eyes and says arise, like that was reading that part was genuinely some of the best moments in that I've ever experienced while reading anything. Like it was so good. It was so ridiculously good, and what followed was just complete washout. Like he washed the floor with the Beast and Frost Monarchs. It was hilarious. Then, like when he woke up, Igris started speaking. It was just like golden moments after golden moments again and again, and it was just wow, man. I was super amazed at that. Who else do I talk about? Jinho and Gina. I kind of knew that they were gonna end up together. At least they did in the new timeline. But yeah, these two are like amazing side characters. The mom waking up, and thankfully there was nothing wrong with her. Like I have PTSD from what happened to Megumi's sister in Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm not gonna spoil that manhwa, but you can. I'm not gonna spoil that manga, but you can check out my reactions. But I was like so glad that it's not some BS and it's just actually people are actually getting good endings in a shonen. Wow, and yeah, like I was super glad that these guys got happy endings. Who else was Jui and was out of the picture? The Hunters. Mm-hmm. I think I've covered most of these guys. So let's get on with the shadows. First, let's talk about Ashbourne. My God, that man had immense drip even as the old Shadow Monarch. He was like I actually find it so amazing that they twisted an actual like biblical story to like fit this narrative. Because I mean, we've all thought the same thing, right? There's God, there's there's like one of the strongest people created by God who got turned to the dark side, and I think you know where this is going. You know, Samael, Lucifer, and all that stuff. But instead of making Ashbourne fully like similar to Satan, essentially, like they kind of gave him a new like purpose, a new like motive and whatnot, and they like changed the story here and there to like fit the narrative. So that whole rulers and monarch storyline was, I mean, it was exposition, but like at least we like got to saw it through the eyes of Ashbourne. Um, that God was essentially using the rulers and monarchs to fight each other just for like entertainment, essentially, which could be true, could also not be true because I've heard that in the next series, Solo Leveling Ragnarok, it was actually God was God was like orchestrating this war to prevent the outer gods or like even more stronger gods from breaking into their dimension and like killing them or something. I don't know. So maybe he was doing it for an ulterior motive that wasn't understood by the greatest fragments of brilliant light. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know. But yeah, he dies, and then Ashbourne essentially like goes up to him. He has like no idea who to support anymore. He was with the monarchs. He was then with the rulers, and then he was like, "Whose side do I be on?" Because I was with the rulers, and they decided to betray me, and then I was with the monarchs, and then they decided to betray me. So I'm just gonna like sit alone and think for a little bit, and then he tasked the architect to find a suitable body, and then Sung was the candidate, and it was just perfection. Like that storyline was amazing, superbly executed. Like you got an entire detailed info on like how gates are created and how like what were the demons that he fought inside the gates, why did you fight them in the gates, the mana, all that like magical lore was explained through that like entire arc. And I was just like, yeah, we finally have answers. It was really nice. Ashbourne was, yeah, super amazing character, and it was really nice to see that he thinks that Sungjin was literally like him, and so he just dies. He was like, yeah, yeah, carry on my job, like I am you essentially. I live on within you. So he goes away, but he had immense drip. My God, that one shot of him riding the horse was immaculate, immaculate. The art and everything. I cannot like read another fantasy manhwa, man. Like this is just too peak. Um, Igris, intelligent, smart, super funny in the side chapters later on in the story, and he actually got more like bigger and bigger in size. Like he got more buff towards the end, and Igris was nice, thoughtful. Tank was bear. We didn't see much of him in the latter half. Um, Iron was great. Iron was like the comic relief of the shadows, and then maybe Tusk. Tusk was also there sometimes, like doing funny shit, like smiling at the cameras and like competing with the dragons for like the hottest and the largest fireball. Um, who else? Beru. How can I mention shadows and forget Beru? The best shadow in the entire manhwa. Like he watches K dramas, he looks after people, he heals them, he is loyal to the king. My God, Beru is such a nice shadow man. He him talking like when he was extracted was like I kind of thought that they were gonna do a fake out where like he comes back and immediately attacks Sung and they fight once again. But that didn't happen, obviously, because Sung has aura and Beru doesn't apparently. So Beru was a great addition to the team. He's so unhinged, he's super loyal and funny. He takes down the Monarch of Plagues, which is crazy. No, no, wait. Who takes down the monarch? Was it? No, Beru opposes her, but then I think Sung comes and like chops her up into pieces or whatever. I don't know. But Beru, Bellion, and Thomas Andre take out the Monarch of Steel Body because that was so funny. Like dude got off screened, and even that another one, the Monarch of Transfiguration, was just kept in place by Dragon's Breath, Dragon's Roar, and yeah, these shadows towards the end are like super OP, like national level hunters type OP, and even like Bellion, I'm pretty sure can take out an entire Monarch by himself. Bellion with that like cool sword that he has. Amazing, amazing power scaling, you know. Um, who else? Jima was a great addition, helped defeat the giants. Kaisel was great. I mean, Kaisel just served as the ride for most of the part, but Kaisel was a great addition. We got that iconic scene of Cha and Sung, flying off into the sunset, and it was repeated towards the end of the story, which was really nice. And that whole segment of them going to the amusement park is super romantic, super nice, and it was a nice little breather. Even though the dialogue was a bit awkward and a bit, we wanted more from that part. Apparently, in the light novel they kiss under the night sky, but the manhwa artist was like too shy to draw that, so that didn't happen. But it still was super nice. So overall, story, characters, really good like that. Just minor nitpicks here and there. I've already talked about them. Artwork was fire. The edits on Instagram are even more fire. And I can't wait to see what they do with Solo Leveling Ragnarok. I've heard that they are coming on with the manhwa adaptation of the light novel in August. I don't know when in August, but it's supposed to come out sometime in August. And we actually have a. Hold up, wait a minute. We actually have a cover artwork for the manhwa, I believe, for Solo Leveling Ragnarok, and it's this one and this one. I think this was the original cover art proposed, but then this is for the webtoon. So that's Suho, by the way, and not Sung Jinwoo. And I kind of like read the synopsis of the story a little bit, and it seems like Sung has gone missing. Obviously, at the end, we saw him flying off into a gate, and then apparently Chahain also goes missing later on. And I think Sung gets captured by the outer gods or something, and then you can see Beru in the background. My goat, Beru actually. Um, I kind of forget what I read, but I think the synopsis said that Beru travels all the way from the far reaches of the universe to like meet Suho, but by the time he meets him, his mana is completely expended. So Beru essentially gets turned into this tiny little, um, like Pokemon type thing, So let's see what they do with that. I'm super excited to read his part of the story, but I just hope that it's not too similar to Solo Leveling. So let's see what they can do. I hope they don't like corner themselves into a point where okay, what else can we do to make this interesting? Because it just feels stuck. I, let's see what happens. I'm not gonna judge it way too harshly now, but so far, Solo Leveling, my favorite manhwa, probably the only manhwa I'll ever read. And Sung Jinwoo, Sung Dripwoo, goated character, my goat, my hero, my inspiration, all that, all that, and more. And yeah, I just extremely enjoyed. I enjoyed this manhwa so much. It was amazing to read, and like if some days again I come through, and read it again. Some arcs I read it again. Oh, I didn't even talk about Antares. My God, Antares, Monarch of Destruction. Dude looks, sounds, and acts the way that suits his name. Like he is super OP. Like when Sung first defeats him, he actually doesn't even defeat him. He just hits him hard enough so that dimensional rifts are formed in the atmosphere around them so that the rulers can come in and then stab him multiple times. So he doesn't defeat him actually, but then towards the end when he like spends 27 years in the dimensional void, he actually gets even more powerful and then he beats the Monarch of Destruction by himself, only taking no damage, by the way. Like he doesn't lose an arm, doesn't lose an eye. I mean, it would be really creepy, you know. Like imagine your son comes home after 2 years. Your son who's like 12 years old comes home after 2 years, and his arm and leg is missing. Like, what do you even say to your parents at that point? You know. Uh, so, I mean, I guess son can like modify his shadow to like make it look like he has an arm or whatever, but at that point he's a god. He can like manipulate reality and whatnot. Like we saw it, we've seen him do that in that interrogation scene side story. So yeah, like he just takes a little bit of damage on his left hand, I believe, while he tries to save Igris. He essentially tanked his fireball, Monarch of Destruction's fireball, with his bare hands. Like he gets that powerful, and then he just kills him. It's super nice. He's a super OP. And I love that he comes out of the gate and his first thing that he does is just he gets ice cream. Like, wow, real man. I would do the same. So, amazing story. Loved it. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, whatever. But I loved it. It has minor flaws. I hope the anime addresses those flaws and like improves on the issue, but other than that, it's fine, all good. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I will upload more frequently. Believe me, I'm not lying now. Yeah, I will upload more frequently, and yeah, see you guys next time. Let's see what the next video is. I have no idea. I'm planning to read Chainsaw Man. A lot of chapters have come out, and I haven't read any of it. Or maybe I'll like discuss a bit of the new Jujutsu Kaisen chapters. I've read those, and I have some strong thoughts about that. So look forward to that in the next few videos. So thank you so much for watching once again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Like and subscribe. Bye bye.